Team 2.
What do we do in a fire? Does anybody know? I kind of have a general idea. I was in the Navy for 8 years. I'm not a fireman, but in the Navy, they train me every day to fight a fire, because if a fire were to break out in the middle of the ocean, we can't call the fire department to get them to come out there and help us. We would just be, left at sea. So everybody in the Navy is taught how to fight fires. And I take that into my next story, that I've actually had a fire as a civilian in my house. I love cooking. Cooking is one of my favorite things to do. And I guess if you cook as often as I do, you run the risk of eventually having at least one fire in the kitchen. Now, in a fire in the kitchen, what do? Some people think, oh, I have to put out a fire, so I'm going to go get water, put it on that fire. But there's grease, there's oil. It's just going to make it worse. So the next thing you think, oh, I could smother the fire. Let me go get a blanket. I'll smother the fire with the blanket. So you go to the living room, you grab your blanket off the couch, and you go to smother the fire. What you don't remember is that that comfortable blanket of yours is a 50% polyester, and it's going to light up in the kitchen. The best thing to do is get the fire extinguisher. Once you get the fire extinguisher, the fire extinguisher's purpose is to remove the oxygen from the fire in the kitchen. That way you get the kitchen out. But in my instance, all I had to do was put a lid on my pot. That emptied out the oxygen, and I didn't have a fire anymore. I got to keep my place. But in the incident that it did go out of hand, did get bigger, who's coming to help? I have to run away from the fire. It's now dangerous for me. So the person coming to the fire is our firemen. Our firemen are here to fight fires and protect our lives. In 2013, Stanley Wilson, a Dallas Fire Department fireman who had a wife and 2 kids, died in a 6 alarm fire in Dallas at a condominium complex. The building went down. They found his body the next morning in the rubble. This is somebody who's responsible for saving lives, and in the process had his own life taken. So why does Stanley Wilson matter? He does matter. In the state of Texas, 56 firemen have died since 2001. 8 in the city of Dallas, Stanley Wilson being the last one. We're 7-Eleven. Our headquarters is here in Dallas. We kind of have an issue with hearing about our local firemen, our local heroes, dying. Due to the investigation of Stanley Wilson, it was deemed that it was because of lack of training, lack of communication among commanders that led to his death as a fireman. Now, as a community, as a part of a company that loves its community, we feel that there needs to be greater protection for our firemen that protect our own lives. We're going to cover that today. First, we're going to go over in depth the issue. We're also going to give you a proposal for an event called Fireline. Fireline is an event that we want to sponsor with the help of DART. DART is a not-for-profit agency, and we have a good idea there that we'll express to you soon. And we're also going to cover the budget on can we afford that event for the city, and will that city actually profit in a way that'll help the Dallas Fire Department. Here's Jeremy.
So as Brian mentioned, the fire department did go into a research and concluded that the reason that Stanley Wilson's death was to a lack of communication and lack of leadership within its commanders. Due to that, they did implement suggestions as to what they felt was necessary to secure the safety of their fire department. That included national quarterly commander courses to ensure that their commanders knew exactly what to do in the heat of fire, no pun intended. The OSA recommended a second computer in the back of the chief's car to allow them to be more efficient in allocating their resources in the middle of the fire. The OSA recommended 60 incident officers to help expedite any incidents that might happen and make sure their firemen or firewomen were able to get back on their feet as quickly as possible. They also recommended having an in-house command simulator, allowing their commanders to have a little bit more of a realistic simulation have better understanding of what's going on than just studying a textbook or listening to lectures or watching videos. It allows them to get a little bit more of a life-like experience training. They also recommended having fireground communications recorder, so they can listen in to past fires, see what went well, see what went wrong. When stuff goes wrong, they can take that information and decode that into breaking it down to allow them to fix the issues that might have gone wrong and do proper training to allow for further success. They also recommended having IT analysts on hand more often to ensure their systems were always 1% or if something did go down, they were more quickly able to get their systems back online, allowing them to get on with their job and less chances of something causing a delay in the fire station response. They also recommended having a dispatcher checklist, which would also concentrate all information coming in from one source for one incident to a single dispatcher, allowing them to weed out all the noise and with the help of their checklist, quickly able to figure out what's going on and what is needed to be sent out to the proper incident. Why are we here again? Again, our estimated cost of this was $5 to $7 million. But when you think about the lives of protecting our firefighters and ultimately protecting our Dallas citizens, $5 to $7 million is a minuscule amount when it comes to our safety. Why are we here again? We are 7-Eleven. We are headquartered here in Dallas. Dallas is a vastly increasing population. We are already currently the 4th largest metropolitan area in the country, but we keep getting more people. As you can see by this map, by 2020 we're expecting to get about a 36% increase in population. By 2040, that population increase is expected to go up to 86%. With that population, we get more and more dense urban areas, which increases fire chances. And these people that are coming, these are not only our consumers, these are our employees, our friends, our families. We at 7-Eleven want to make sure that we protect everyone, our citizens, and everyone. So with that, we want to make sure our fire department is able and adequately trained and adequately prepared to deal with these fires. And Don will take over with the proposal.
All right, so we're going to partner up with DART, which is a non-for-profit organization, and together we came up with a little slogan. It's Stop, Dart, and Roll On Down to the Fire Line. It's a little twist from the Stop, Drop, and Roll that we all know. This is our logo. It's got the fire line, the railroad tracks on top, a little DART train, and the DFD logo up to the top to the left. So what is the fire line? It's basically a 2-day festival we're going to be holding, except this one's a little different. It's going to be in 9 different locations all throughout the DART Red Line station, which is listed right here. A few locations, for example, is the West End, Pearl Station, the Plano stations. So at each of these events, we're going to have different music, live music, food, beverages, alcohol of sort, with license, of course. We chose this red line because it's the most heavily populated. Another reason we did this is to kind of, everyone's been on 75 rush hour, it's the worst. So we're trying to promote, DART to commute through from work and to work, And also this helps out us 7-Eleven because we have stores set up at almost every DART station. So we're going to have music. We're going to be budgeted around 30 bands and DJs to perform at each station all throughout the festival. Food and beverages. We're not going to cater the event. It's going to lower our costs, but we are going to get food trucks to come in, and also other restaurants that want to come in and set up shop. Entertainment for kids. We're going to have clowns, bounce houses, etc. And then also we're going to have firefighter-themed activities like firefighter tug-of-war or something of that sort. And then also we're going to have these tents set up with firefighters that's going to tell you more about safety, and if you want to ask any questions to firemen, you can. These tickets, we're going to sell these tickets either online or through our 7-Eleven stores for $10, and that includes all-day pass to DART train stations. With that, you're also going to get a little brochure that has lists of the events, the bands playing all throughout the festival. How are we going to market this? For us, it's really easy to market this because we are 7-Eleven. So one easy way to market is through our stores. We're going to set up flyers and all throughout the windows and let people know. Another way is radio advertisement. We're going to do radio advertisement through KISS FM or 102.9 major radios like that. Another easy way, cheap way, also social media through our accounts through Twitter, Facebook, our firefighter accounts, any of that sort. Now Sophie's going to talk about our budget.
Thank you. So let's move on to the financial side of our event. The budget is pretty huge. That's why we split it up into smaller parts to make it easier understandable and get a better overview. All our costs are calculated for 50,000 people, and we're starting with the advertisement, which consists of paper ads and radio advertisement. The paper ads is mainly the printing costs because we will promote our event in 7-Eleven stores and DART trains, so we don't have any extra expenditures. And then there's the radio advertisement, which is about $10,000. It's a little bit more expensive, but very effective. So we have total promoting costs of $11,000. And then we have the entertainment costs, which is mainly bands, DJs. This is like a little bit of more and the main part of our budget, $100,000. Then we have the stages. They are just slightly above $1,000 because at most of our locations there are already stages, so we don't have to rent them, build them up and all of this. And then we have the children events, earlier mentioned clowns, bouncing houses and a lot of fun stuff, and Miss Consular activities. This adds up to $110,000. Next is the beverages and food, which is no extra cost because it's already mentioned. We're going to have food trucks and local businesses cooperating with us. Then there's the last part of our cost. It's the insurance, alcohol permits, and other costs, which is about $74,000. Summing up, this gives us total costs of almost $200,000. And we asked the local Chamber of Commerce of Dallas to pay for half of all of these costs, to contribute to helping our fire department in saving our citizens. So let's get to the nice part, the profit. If we have 50,000 people attending our event in total, we will have a profit of over $300,000, which is already great. But if we estimate that there will be 50,000 people participating every day, we have a profit of over $800,000, which gives our fire department great opportunities in getting this training and all the necessary things they need. So now it's going back to Brian with the finish.
You may have noticed that that was for phase 1 of Firelight. And this event is intended to be a yearly event, one that will assist the Fireline Festival and help the DFD get all the money that it needs for its future training. Now we selected the DART because we're 7-Eleven. We have a 7-Eleven location at every single DART station. And the DART will get help because it'll bring more awareness to DART. There's so much to do at every station on the DART, especially the red line, that'll pull traffic off of 75, which everybody feels is a headache. That's another thing that this does. So it helps the 7-Eleven, it helps DART. This is a fundraiser for the fire department. So all the money and proceeds that go into this go to the fire department so that they can get the training that they need. And as Adonis mentioned, at every single location, all 9 locations, there will be a tent set up for firefighting safety stand down so that the citizens that participate in this event will get firefighting knowledge that they can take so that if they have that kitchen fire, like I mentioned, I had one, they'll know what to do. They won't get the blanket in their couch. They're going to go for the CO2. And they'll also know that every year they should get their fire extinguisher checked. As far as the event goes and the budget, as we noticed, we were talking about 50,000 people. Now, how do we know how many people are going to attend this? This is a very highly populated area. To give you an example of one event, a couple weeks ago there was the Lunar Festival, Chinese New Year Festival in Akron Park. That event alone had 20,000 people there. That was just one location, which is actually one of the locations that's on our DART line. Now we're going to encompass 9 locations. I'm not saying there's going to be 20,000 people per location, but if advertised well, we can definitely get a large population of citizens to come to the thing, or come to the event. And on top of that, to give you another example of how popular this event can get over many years, the Texas State Fair has been here for a very long time. It's a 24-day long event that brings in 3 million people every year. That's an average of 125,000 people per day. Now, that will fluctuate. More people on the weekends, less people on weekdays. So if we have this event on a weekend for 2 days, we're going to bring in a ton of people, bringing those profit amounts to a much larger amount. So, along with bringing in the profits to help the fire department, we're also helping people get off of 75, preventing some traffic. We're giving them the knowledge they need to help them stay out of fire hazardous situations. We're helping the fire department get their training that they need. And because we're giving all of the restaurants and local businesses a part of this, it's going to give economic growth to every single station. So we haven't just solved one problem. We've also encompassed the entire community for a safety stand-down. Now, is there any questions? Did I cover every base?
Thank you, Team 2.
One question.
All right, so my question was that you said that you're going to cover you're asking the Dallas Chamber for half of the cost. So how are you going to raise money for the other half for the
Yep.
event?
The other half of the event will come out of 7-Eleven, the company. Your question?
Oh, sorry.
Yes. How will we raise the other half of the money if the Dallas Chamber of Commerce helps with the first half? We're 7-Eleven, so we're ideally going to cover this, and we're going to cover it easily because we're selling tickets in our own locations. We're getting advertising for a 7-Eleven. So for us, we'll view it as a personal advertising expense.
Thank you, Team 2.